Back in 2020, when the pandemic was still causing chaos, I started driving for Uber after losing my retail job. Most nights were uneventful, awkward drunks, chatty passengers, but one night in October stands out like a scar. Just after midnight, I got a ping to pick up a rider named Derek outside a closed bowling alley. The parking lot was empty except for one man standing under a flickering light. He was tall, gray hoodie, hands buried in his pockets. He didn't wave. He didn't smile. When he slid into my back seat, I asked if the address in the app was right. He said yes, his voice flat and emotionless. For the first 15 minutes, he didn't move, didn't look out the window, didn't even touch his phone, just stared at the back of my head. Eventually, he leaned forward and asked me to pull into a dark, abandoned-looking house instead of the destination. No lights, overgrown lawn, broken windows. He told me to wait as he disappeared around the side of the house. Every instinct screamed at me to leave. When I ended the trip and tried to back out, he suddenly came running back, face twisted, eyes wide. He got back in and told me to drive to the other place. I told him to put it in the app, but he just stared at me until I drove back to where I picked him up, before getting out. He leaned forward and asked in a dead serious voice, "You ever wonder how you're going to die?" I nervously laughed it off, but he didn't smile. He said, "I think about it all the time." Then he told me, "You picked the wrong guy up tonight," and just walked off into the darkness. When I checked the app later, the trip history was gone. No name, no profile, no record of it ever happening. In 2021, I was driving full-time, usually late nights. Around 1:30 a.m., I picked up a man named Chris from a quiet side street downtown. He looked normal enough, hoodie, jeans, didn't smell like alcohol. But the ride was strange from the beginning. 25 minutes across town, his destination was a pitch-black suburban house. No lights, no cars. When I asked if it was the right place, he just stared out the window before nodding. He got out but didn't close the door. He just stood there. Then he turned back and said, "I need to go back." I told him he'd need to request a new ride, but he whispered, "I can't. They're not gone yet." I ended the trip and drove off unsettled. I even stopped at a gas station to clear my head, but when I came back out, Chris was sitting in my back seat. I froze. I swore I locked the doors. When I asked how he got in, he ignored the question and just said, "Take me back." The whole ride back, he rocked in his seat, whispering, "They're still there. They won't leave no matter what I do." When I finally dropped him off, he didn't enter the house. He just stood on the porch in the dark, motionless, as I drove away. I reported it to Uber the next morning, but no one ever explained how he got back into my car. I'm an 18-year-old girl living alone with my small dog. One Friday night, I ordered Uber Eats while cleaning my apartment. My food never appeared at my door until my neighbor knocked, holding it. He said he'd taken it from the driver, who was peering into my windows. That night, my dog wouldn't stop growling at the back door. Then, around midnight, someone started banging on my bedroom window. Terrified, I called 911. When police arrived, they found muddy footprints under my window and the driver's white car parked across the street, but he wasn't in it. Hours later, just as I was drifting off, police pounded on my door again. They told me they caught the driver coming back, walking straight toward my apartment door. He was arrested on the spot. I never used Uber Eats again. I was visiting Washington, D.C. with my fiancée, Sarah, when we nearly got into the wrong car, except it wasn't an accident. After sightseeing, we requested an Uber. A gray minivan pulled up. Sarah asked, "Uber for Sarah?" The driver just nodded. No greeting, no confirmation. We got in. Minutes into the drive, Sarah's phone buzzed. "Your Uber has arrived." The real driver was waiting for us, somewhere else. My blood ran cold. We were in a stranger's car. When I asked the driver to let us out, he ignored me, eyes locked on the road. That's when I pulled a pocket knife and told him I knew he wasn't our driver. He finally pulled over. We scrambled out, and he sped off. Later, our real Uber driver told us people had been posing as rideshare drivers in the area, luring tourists. Some of those people were never seen again. We reported it to police, but as far as I know, that man was never caught.